Good morning, Shenandoah Valley, Frederick County, Richmond, Virginia, and the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth. This is Dana B. and Charlie M. We are the 3%. Our buddy Scott couldn't make it this morning because he's part of the school board and he's out there taking care of the kids like he's supposed to be doing, which is fantastic. And we want to thank him for that. Um, Today, we're covering a lot of different things that have to do with, we call it vote for, the word four times, 4x, vote no 4x.com. And we have the pleasure this morning of talking with Dr. Sheila Furey of Virginia Medical Freedom Alliance. And folks, this is a really pivotal time in our history, not just for the country, but also the state. Everything started in Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, and the Commonwealth of Virginia is going to bring the revolution or the glorious cause back to America. So without me talking anymore, I'm going to turn it over to our great commentator and facilitator, my brother Charlie. All yours, Charlie.
Thank you, Dana. And thank you, Dr.
Dr. Sheila.
Sheila.
Dr. Sheila.
I was going to say Shirley.
He had a long night last night.
Yeah, Dr. Sheila. We understand that, and we know that you are close to Richmond geographically, and you're able to be a local pain in the posterior, so to speak, and represent the things that we as conservative Christians do and believe in. And as I understand it, we have the same outlook on these 4 amendments that Virginia has in the process of changing our Constitution. And if we get these things in the Constitution, our Constitution is our law. And all of a sudden, we can't be arguing with anybody unless we actually go and change the Constitution. So with these conservatives, progressives, even Marxists, if I can say so, they have smelled an opportunity now that Spanberger is the governor to go in and make every conceivable possible progressive change. And these 4 amendments to the Constitution are a big deal. And I know you talked to Dana about spending some time going over these, and we really appreciate your being willing to do that.
Especially with Dr. Sheila's background. We've done conferences together. She's worked with children for years. She works with Ann Tatus and everybody else. So, Dr. Sheila, tell us a little bit about you and how you got this started, too, because we have 4 amendments and you've been right on top of them.
Well, I want to focus on the 4 amendments, all right? And one of the things that you need to know is that we are not, the voice of the people is not represented in the General Assembly. We do elect delegates and senators, but when you're down at the General Assembly, which is controlled by the Democrats, they actually limit discussion on each of the bills. And sometimes that discussion on a very heated topic will be 8 minutes or 12 minutes, or they might be really generous and allow 15 minutes of public comment.
That's it.
That means that there is no representation. There is no voice of the people. All right. The members of the General Assembly, particularly the Democrats, have steamrolled legislation through without even hearing facts. And what is equally deplorable on their side is that they will simply, while you are testifying, pull up an information on their smartphones and present it as fact, as if it is fact, no matter what the person who is presenting actual facts has had to say.
Wow.
And so the audacity of them saying that they represent and care for the people of Virginia is actually laughable. All right?
So they don't think. They're going by what the little book and the little phone tells them.
Correct. And what they're told. All right. And what we also
narrative.
know is that before the Democrats had the super majority, particularly in the House, they held up a flag telling the Democrats whether they should vote green for yes or red for no. All right. So we know that the Democrats are so stupid that they have to, and so controlled that they have to do as they are told. Get in lockstep, because otherwise we are not going to support you. So the voice of the people and what the people want, and we are seeing this across the state, particularly in different boards of supervisors, all right, is that you have members of the boards of supervisors who are not listening to the people. So you can be in Goochland or Nottoway County or other counties, New Kent County, and the people will come in and speak, and the majority of the people are speaking against an issue.
Right.
And the board of supervisors doesn't care. They're not going to open it for more discussion and more research. They're just going to vote against what the people represent. And this is why politics is local, and we need to do everything to control our local politics.
Absolutely.
And it is equally important that our churches step up to the plate, because our ability to have a Christian religion, we are a Christian nation founded in Christianity, dedicated to Jesus Christ from the founding. And now we have people saying that that's hate speech. Okay? And if our churches do not step up, and if they're shaking in their shoes because they're afraid of their 501c3 status,
right,
they need to re-examine the law and get some courage, believe in their Bible that they preach, and tell their constituents that they have a moral obligation to vote.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
You said something about 501c3. It's funny, if people are worried more about the little tax deduction, and the church is worried more about the little tax deduction, go find another country.
Correct. And what we know is that no church, there is not a single church in the United States that has had their 501c3 status challenged. Particularly, we know that at least here in the city of Richmond, we have Democratic candidates come in, speak to the congregations, tell them how to vote, then put them on a bus and take them down to vote. All right?
Wow.
So they just did that in Loudoun County, just for their Loudoun County Republican Committee. They just
the Democrats
bust a bunch of people in, and they voted for whoever the leader was going to be, the chairman was going to be in Loudoun County. So they do that quite a bit.
Correct.
You know?
So, Charlie, if we want to start with gerrymandering.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
We've had a lot of conversations on this, folks.
And we kind of like to do a framework so our listeners understand is what, so what, now what.
Okay.
So let's talk about the what, the status, what is going on, and then the impact of that, and then what do we do?
Right.
All right. So gerrymandering is drawing the districts along either ethnic, religious, some lines, okay? And they are prohibited from drawing the districts along political lines, okay? And in 2020, we voted overwhelmingly by over 1 million votes to have a nonpartisan committee draw our districts, okay? Right. And it was essential that when we drew the districts, it was a nonpartisan committee and they be centralized. That means that your district really, whoever your delegate, your congressman was, represented you.
Yep.
So what we have in this new redistricting is the lines being deliberately redrawn to represent the Democratic Party as a majority.
Mm-hmm.
And Fairfax County will be divided up into 5 congressional districts.
Correct.
And will be stretched across the state. Augusta
like an octopus.
Right.
Right.
Augusta County will also be split into 3 congressional districts.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we have a conservative district in, the southwestern part of the state is now 3 districts. Okay. This is not localized representation.
Well, if you can't beat them, cheat them.
Correct. And they said that this is a response to the redrawing of districts and other states. Okay. We are not another state. Our congressmen represent the citizens of Virginia, not Texas. And if we're going to look at this, Massachusetts is 35 to 40% Republican. Mm-hmm. They have not had a member of Congress in decades.
Nope.
Okay? Yep. Connecticut has not had a member of Congress in decades.
Yep.
So this is what your redrawing of district lines will look like. All right? Mm-hmm. And it is doing a disservice to the people because Fairfax County does not represent Southwest Virginia.
Or
Fairfax County.
Us out here.
Right.
Correct.
At all. Nobody from Fairfax understands what we deal out here in more of an agricultural area. That would be like us representing them, Dr. Sheila. We have no idea what they need or what they want or what works for them.
Correct.
So it works both ways.
And there's so many issues that are local. And it is very important. So agricultural, the issues on data centers and control of our land, the water supply of our land, the other issues, those are local issues. And now we will have no representation in Congress.
Yep.
That is a complete disservice to the people of Virginia.
Absolutely.
All right.
Ours would go from a 6 to 5 representation, which is kind of fair. That's what it was in 2020. 6 Democrats to 5 Republicans.
Right.
Okay, to 10 to 1. I mean, we don't have a voice. Just like you said earlier, you guys get 10 to 15 minutes to talk, and then they look at their little flag, red for stop and say no, or green for go and vote yes. And they don't even hear anything that you say. But this is part of our responsibility too. And I was looking at it last night in Frederick County. There's a lot going on. You said data centers. And everybody, I'm sure, will be, for example, in our Board of Supervisors tomorrow night. I just have a really good feeling because the budget and 42 million and da-da-da. But where were you 5 years ago, 6 years ago? This isn't something that you show up for 3 minutes and try to explain because they're not going to listen to you. Charlie, you and I have talked about this over and over. You don't get 3 minutes does nothing.
That's right. And it's really easy. I'm on the planning commission. It's really easy to ignore 3-minute speeches where they just get up and rail about it.
Next.
But you have to sit there with an open mind and think, well, maybe there's a point there that I need to consider. But most time people don't do that.
Red flag.
What I wanted to characterize this redistricting as is it's weaponizing geography. The enemy has figured out, and I say enemy because they are not for us, we the people. They have figured out how to make the district, the shape and width and length and wandering. It's gerrymandering, but it's really wandering around to find the Democrat votes and put them in, or find enough Republicans, just put enough Republicans that can be overwhelmed by the Democrats in that region.
We have now.
There's a whole lot of technique and thinking that goes into these very obvious outcomes like you described in Connecticut and Massachusetts.
Absolutely.
They have figured out scientifically that gerrymandering, and the nonpartisan group or the balanced group that you described earlier that did this redistricting that we have did it the right way, minimize the number of adjacent districts, keep them geometrically compact, like square,
Yes.
round, oblong, but not wandering, and things come out a lot better. But
Let me give some hope
and
there,
that
Charlie.
what we have right now was not created by the Republicans, the conservatives. If it was, it'd be 1 to 10, not
We
looking at
want it
6 to 5.
fair and
Yeah.
balanced.
So
But they're
so
running out of options, Charlie.
I've said many times that we need the two-party system.
Yep.
We need two parties. We need the yin and the yang. We need to have a balance, and it doesn't have to be perfect balance, but it's close enough for us to be able to debate things. So, Dr. Sheila, if this passes, what's the impact of this?
The impact is pretty significant. All right. So it would not only not represent the state of Virginia, because the balance would be 10 Democrats to 1 Republican.
Right.
It would flip Congress, and Congress currently is in danger of being flipped. Okay. Even without the redistricting,
Right.
It is in danger of flipping, and which means that Trump would lose total control. That we will have, he may lose control anyway. All right. And so, but this will be, and what they have said is, they're going to move forward to impeach Trump. We are going to be, and that anyone who cooperated with Trump they will prosecute. So what we're going to be is in another 2-year cycle of the violent extremists going after conservatives. It will make the J6 Commission look like child's play.
Absolutely.
And
But
they'll
they're running
resurrect the
out-
J6 issue
They're
too.
running out of options. If we're looking at what's going on in the world right now, this is where the Democrats are left. They are running out of options. They've
Well,
So
pushed
what
it
do we
to this
do?
point.
So what do we do?
So the issue is we have to vote. What I want people to be aware of is it is critical that you vote, but I also want to, I know that many within the Republican Party are saying vote early, but you have to be aware that they know you have voted. All right. So your vote, exactly which way you vote, is not known. All right. But they can guess based on your previous voting in primaries whether you are more likely to have voted as a Democrat or as a Republican.
They know
So
how many
I think
votes to put
the
in.
fact that the data is released is actually criminal and a violation of the law. However, that is what we're living with. All right. I believe firmly that that needs to be changed. Our election laws are corrupt, and that means it is even more important that you vote and every one of your neighbors votes. There is no excuse for not voting. If you are sick and have to vote absentee, absolutely do it. But you must commit to voting, and you must commit to getting your neighbors to vote and ask questions about the ballot. Know that the wording of the ballot question is completely corrupt. It is to restore fairness in elections. All right. What kind of, it is a leading question. All right. It is not about fairness. It's about control and having one party have total control. And so people must read the ballot question ahead of time. They must understand the implications of it.
I don't mean to sound bad, but that's a lot to ask of people who don't pay attention.
It is. But if your life depends on it, I think it's time to pay attention. All right? This is not an issue that can easily go away because each of the four amendments was written in language of what we call strict scrutiny.
Yes.
That means it cannot be amended. And
it's in.
It's in, and the only way it will be changed is by another constitutional amendment, and that will take years to decades.
If we could do it.
If we can pass it. And in Virginia, in particular, the amount of fraud that is going on in the elections, the people who are out, who aren't in your district, all you have to do is come in, give a name and an address, and say you are who you say you are, and sign a piece of paper, and you are allowed to vote. That is criminal.
Yeah. You know, they just found out in Arizona. In Arizona, we just found out. We knew to begin with about 2020, but in Virginia, you can't see the vote. You can't see the ballot. You can't see what precinct they voted in. You can't see the timestamp. You can't see anything. They've locked all of that up, so you can't see it. In other states, this is why Harmeet Dillon is really pushing for a lot of things right here. But you can't see the votes in Virginia, so they can say whatever they want to do. And there's a lot of anomalies that went on with Abigail Schamberger to begin with. And now we've got these guys that are trying to get total control. So if they got total control, what's going to happen, Dr. Sheila, in November? Because I know we've got 4 amendments that are coming up that we really have to look at. That can change the entire Commonwealth, especially the way we see it too.
So we have the gerrymandering, which would give them control of every aspect. So right now,
of our lives,
if this passes, we not only lose representation at the governor, lieutenant governor, the attorney general, the House, the Senate, our Congress, and our senators.
No representation.
We would have no representation at the federal level. 0. All right. And so
that's unacceptable.
It's totally unacceptable. All right. And particularly, it gives them the financial power. Okay. The financial power between this election, April and November, to totally give all the money to support the other 3 constitutional amendments, so that the government, so our tax dollars are going to be specifically targeting those 3 amendments and telling people to pass them. Right. So again, it isn't nonpartisan. It isn't money coming from just the people who represent those issues. It's our tax dollars with an agenda driven to drive the agenda in a particular direction. And that is criminal.
I agree. I mean, that is.
We're speechless.
Yeah.
I mean, we're beating the drum. But we need people to realize what freedoms. I don't think people realize what
this is how we lose
up.
America. This is how we lose America.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah. And
we
so
have a bunch of us out here
just in summary, it's vote no on April 21st.
That's the start.
Right.
Absolutely.
And get all of your friends, pick up your neighbors, be proactive, call your neighbors, ask them if they have voted, take them out to vote. Okay. Take them to our website, voteno4x.com. Read about each of the amendments. All right. So you can have them over for coffee, have them over, before, watching a basketball game for March Madness, and look at the amendments and say, okay, we're going to educate ourselves and we're going to vote.
Perfect.
We do this pretty much on a weekly basis because, as you know, Mountain Patriots has been doing this almost 4 years. almost every Monday except 3, we go through this. Charlie and I and a bunch of us show up everywhere we need to be to try to get that word out there. I will say this, there's a lot of counties right now that they're really swinging to the no side. I think there was 300,000 votes that they've counted so far. I think it's over 7% right now have voted. That's huge. We don't get a lot of times we don't get that in a regular election.
My question is, if it was a valid election, how do we know those are no votes?
We don't.
Okay.
We don't. We'll never be able to see them, and that's what we're working on up here with the election integrity folks that we're good friends with.
And one of the strategies that the opposition, the enemy has, is, like you said, Dr. Sheila, they know how many votes were early votes, so they know the magnitude of the cheat that they have to do.
Correct.
They'll make their own assumptions as to the split, as to how many are yes and how many are no.
How many do I need to make up? How many do I need to print?
Part of that equation is the number of voters. I have mixed emotions about voting early.
Yes.
Because people have shown up later only to find out someone else has voted for them.
Correct. And that what we had one of the people that we work with had that happen, and they said, well, we'll let you vote provisionally, and she insisted that no, she was not going to vote provisionally. She was who she was, and she didn't care what the machine said, and so she stood her ground, and she voted with it, and her vote was counted that day. But yes, there is absolutely a problem with that. And that is because people can come in and give a name and an address and no ID and sign a piece of paper that says, I am who I say I am, and are being allowed to vote. That is the problem. And the fact that there are certain senators within our state who say that people are disenfranchised if they don't have a picture ID is the biggest load of malarkey I've ever heard in my life, because you can't go anywhere without a photo ID.
You can't buy a pack of cigarettes anymore without an ID. Look at all the people standing in TSA.
Yeah.
What they're saying is the minority and the poor are too stupid.
And they're not. Boy, you talk about being racist. That's about as racist as you can get. Women, people of color. I mean, they're just, look at Newsom. I mean, he goes as far as saying he doesn't have an IQ because they don't. I mean, come on. How insane can you be to somebody?
Is there any final thought, Dr. Sheila, you want to share with us about this particular amendment?
About this amendment, I think it's very important. Vote no. And this is the wording on the amendment, that it is on to restore fairness is incorrect. All right. And we have to understand that to restore fairness in elections is an absolute lie.
You just do the opposite of what they tell you.
Okay,
if they say the sky is blue, question it.
What amendment would you like to talk about next, Dr. Sheila?
Next, let's go to the marriage amendment. Okay.
Yes.
And this is where our churches need to wake up. All right. So currently in the state of Virginia, 2 consenting adults who are the same sex can marry. All right. However, there is a religious exemption. So if you, for religious or philosophical marriages, do not want to, and you are a person who does marriages, performs marriage ceremonies, you do not have to perform a same-sex marriage.
Right now.
That is current law in Virginia. It is not under jeopardy. Not under jeopardy. No one is trying to change that. All right. What this constitutional amendment does is it not only permits 2 consenting adults of the same sex to marriage, it also introduces the word gender to our Constitution. Gender has no constitutional meaning. You are male or you are female. All right. So the introduction of gender to the Constitution is the introduction of a falsehood, a non-biological fact into how we identify individuals. We identify individuals as male or female. We do not identify individuals by how they feel or identify about themselves on any given day of the week. Major problem. The other aspect is there will be no exclusion, so religious exemption. So any church that does not believe, or any person who does not believe in same-sex marriage, will be asked to perform same-sex marriages.
Whether they want
and
to.
There will be, they said, well, there won't be any consequences. That's false. Okay. How do we know this? Because in Colorado, the couple who did not want to bake a cake,
I was going to go there,
went to the Supreme Court not once, but twice. And the people fighting that couple in Colorado have said, after every case is done, we will file another one.
Yep.
So all of these churches are going to be deliberately set up. They are going to have couples join a church, and then they're going to go to the pastor and say, I want to be married.
And then be sued, and there goes your church.
Correct.
There goes your church.
All right, because
infiltration
the
from
pastors
within
will not have the financial ability or the gumption or the spine to stand up to this. All right. And they'll just say, oh, I'm just sorry. We had this come up and we're going to have to close our church. Yep. Okay. That is the set. They're specifically going to go after Christian churches.
Already are.
And they already are. The issue with gender being introduced in this amendment is now the word gender becomes part of the state constitution. Right. That means every other constitutional issue can be rewritten to include gender. So there goes every effort to have, sports. Separate sports, separate bathrooms, separate locker rooms, separate events for women or men is gone.
Right. That's
you would
insane.
think women would oppose that.
I'm going to say a lot of women are stupid. I guess I can say that.
A lot of men are stupid too, Dr. Sheila.
We have a lot of people who are just plain stupid. Okay. And they want to play nice. And they've been taught, I'm just trying to be welcoming and caring
and get along,
and compassionate to everyone. All right.
And tolerant.
Well, the tolerance is eliminating women.
Yes.
All right? The tolerance is eliminating motherhood. The tolerance is eliminating the nuclear family.
Yes.
All right. So the backbone of our country is the family unit.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it has been systematically destroyed for the last 100+ years. And the women's movement has been key in that destruction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's been going on a long time.
Demise. I'm sitting here thinking, and I've thought about this a lot. If you wanted to get a sex change, you have it, and you decide you're not the right gender, you only have two choices there too. Think about it. I identify as a man or identify as a woman. You can't identify as anything else. If you're going to can you turn somebody into a rabbit or a kangaroo or a giraffe? No, or a dog. Well,
careful what you ask for, you might get it.
You might get it. This is
Yeah.
really, folks, this is a really big deal, because what'll happen to Christianity and your churches, you know it, if your pastor or your minister or your priest or your reverend, whatever, says, I do not believe in this, you're going to have lawsuits that make sure that they can't fight that. They can't fight that. There goes your church. Is it really worth the church, the 95 or 98% of the people who believe the way we believe, for the 2% who want to come after you and sue you over an amendment?
Yeah,
I mean, it makes
what we
zero
are
sense.
about right now is we're seeing mind control.
Oh yeah, MK Ultra.
Yeah, I mean it is it starts with limiting and eliminating the freedom of speech.
Thanks to
And
the
then
Absolutely.
Rhodes Scholars.
yeah.
And it begins in our education systems, in our
Absolutely.
preschools and our elementary schools,
Yep.
where we are taught to comply.
Right.
Yeah.
And these are the rules. And I'm not saying that rules are not important, but the
They are.
level of control that is taught, and that everyone is equal and equivalent in a bad sense of the word.
Equity.
Okay, in that your individuality has no place.
Right.
You are to conform so that there is no difference. That is totalitarian control, and that's what's going on in our schools. And this is why it's so important, in my opinion, that we need to pull our children out of those systems of indoctrination,
Right.
so that they understand the truth.
We're working on it.
So
Doc, I'll tell you, Dr. Sheila, Ann Tatus has been a champion. You know
Yeah.
her. She
Yeah.
is the champ. Virginia for Children's First. Uh, she just goes in and hammers, and she's right. She does not. She's like you, the two of you. Oh my gosh, I would hate to be in a fight with the two of you. These two young ladies. I'm telling you, Charlie, if you watch them down there in Richmond, they're incredible. What's the next thing we have to look out for, Dr. Sheila? We know what's going to happen to the church if we let this go. What's the next thing that's going to come up in November that you know about that everybody needs to know?
Reproductive freedom. Oh, we have to be
Reproductive
compassionate
freedom.
and caring for women, because women, or actually everyone, needs reproductive freedom. So it isn't just about women, it is also about men.
Yeah.
Okay, it is also about minors, right? So this isn't for about adults, this is for everyone having the choice of reproductive freedom. And oh my gosh, we would want people to be able to have reproductive freedom. So the first thing I want you to keep in mind is open your bank accounts, because the cost of this amendment will be hundreds of millions of dollars a year. A year.
We're
Okay?
paying for our demise.
So evidence of that is in Maryland. They automatically, for this bill, allotted $250 million for abortion alone.
Yep.
That is the tip of the iceberg.
Yep.
So when this becomes a constitutional amendment, it affects women, it affects men, it affects children.
So
Right?
this
Yeah.
is not just the freedom to have an abortion. It includes the government paying for these abortions. Is that right?
Absolutely, because if it is a constitutional right, then the government must pay for it.
Wow.
Now take that, Charlie, and think about data. So I'm just going to switch gears just for a second to give a perspective. People are upset about their taxes going up, their property taxes going up, and whether or not they're going to have a data center or a casino in Frederick County, Virginia. Okay. But they're not thinking about the constitutional amendment that would pay for the death of all these children and what it'll cost them there. They think we have a problem now. You're talking about draining every penny that we have. And whoever controls the checkbook controls what you do. It's 1984.
So we have our taxes, and so not only will our taxes go up, but all health insurance premiums will skyrocket.
Absolutely.
Because again, this is a right. It is a constitutional right to all what they determine are reproductive health services. Okay, so that goes from birth control,
right?
All right, so pills, medication, to surgical interventions, which currently you cannot surgically sterilize a minor, but under this constitutional amendment, you will be able to surgically sterilize a minor.
Population control.
Population control.
500
this makes Jeffrey Epstein look timid.
This is all Georgia Guidestones, guys.
So this goes way beyond someone saying that they're against abortion because of their religion. This goes way deeper into your behavior and your pocketbook.
Correct.
Control everything.
This is just this one amendment.
This is just one of the amendments.
Okay? This is why I wanted Dr. Sheila on here, Charlie, because people don't understand this. They don't. Right. I mean, there's a couple things that I've heard today that I'm going, wait a second, I didn't think about that. Okay? It just goes so much deeper. We've got a lot to do, folks.
So not only is abortion unregulated and you can deliberately take, so I want to be clear about that because the Democrats is skewing the language. All right? The Democrats are saying that a miscarriage doesn't get treated. We're going to allow appropriate miscarriage treatment now. We already have that. If a woman has a miscarriage, she is never denied treatment. But the left is saying that people who have a miscarriage or an ectopic pregnancy are being denied treatment. That is absolutely unequivocally false. And the statements in the cases that they present in Georgia, Texas, and other states are completely obfuscating the facts of those cases. All right?
I'm going to be sick.
What they are doing. So if you have, we have something in medically, we have a spontaneous abortion. Okay, that is technically a miscarriage.
Right.
For some reason, the baby dies. All right. They are deliberately blurring the language between a spontaneous abortion or a miscarriage or a stillbirth and elective abortion. What's the difference? Okay, the difference is an elective abortion, the person is deliberately choosing to end the life of a child in the womb.
Right.
Of a human being in the womb.
A human being in the womb. Further, all right, this is an equivalent, all right? If I have a heart attack, I'm sitting here and I have a heart attack, that is called a spontaneous heart attack.
Right.
Okay? And hopefully people will give me treatment and I will survive. Right. However, if you take a syringe of digoxin and you inject it in my heart because you have elected to stop my heart,
right,
we would call that murder.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're afraid to use the word murder when it comes to preborn children because it might offend someone.
Right.
Well, I know a child who died because you don't want to be offended.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you have a person that's carrying a child, okay, and you kill that mother and the child, that's a double homicide.
Correct.
So, I mean, so which is it? So I guess if I walked outside and somebody and I got really mad at somebody for picking on me, and let's say somebody shot somebody else, couldn't they call that a long-term abortion?
Well, in
Do you get
California,
what I'm saying? I
yes,
didn't kill that person. That was they wanted an abortion. I just did it 30 years later. But that
right,
leads into the euthanasia too.
correct. So it is all very complicated. And in California, if you die within 28 days of birth, well, you died within 28 days of birth.
28
to,
days of
yeah.
birth.
So in Virginia,
Back up, Dr. Sheila. What you're saying is, in California, I want to make sure that people understand this. You're saying in California, if a baby dies, they have that child. Are you saying that 28 days later, if that child just happens to die, that's just an abortion?
it is not investigated.
So you can just let the baby that's a Northam statute,
Correct.
isn't it? We
So
just
what,
keep it comfortable and let it go.
right. So in abortions, elective abortions, some of them, in some studies, as many as 50% of these children are born alive.
Right.
That means that their heart is beating, all right, and they may be struggling to breathe. Okay. We know from Dr. Gosnell in Philadelphia that he delivered full-term babies, and he deliberately ended their life by severing the spinal cord. All right.
I heard
He
about
was
that. I was
sentenced
like,
to prison and he just died in prison. Okay. He was an evil person.
Mhm.
All right. But what we are going to allow in Virginia is equally, if not more evil. All right. Because a child born alive, and our General Assembly had the option to say we will provide medical assistance to a child born alive. And the General Assembly, controlled by the Democrats, said, no, we will not. And the General Assembly wants to characterize these children as deformed, will never live outside the womb, etc. All right. 96% plus of all babies who die in abortion are normal.
Wow.
I'm an
96
adoption.
plus,
Me.
yeah.
I was an adoption.
Why is this nation so frightened of adoption? Why?
Doesn't achieve their population goal.
And right. And people, there's so many people, that's why you got in vitro and everything. There's so many people want children. They want children. My parents wanted me.
Yes, they did. And thank God they opened their hearts to you.
So at least
It's
you could
upsetting.
do is vote no.
Correct.
Because going beyond that, there's a lot of work to try and overcome abortion. It's such a huge industry out there that that there's not much we can do except continue to object to it. But you can do something. You can vote no on this amendment in November, and please do.
And realize that when you vote no, it is not going to stop abortion in Virginia. Abortion in Virginia is legal in all 3 trimesters. So people have to understand that. It will not end abortion in Virginia. All it is saying is we are not giving you a constitutional right to abortion. Further,
We're now paying for it.
We're not paying for it.
We're not paying for it.
That makes us.
The other issue is, and that we're not going to permit a child born alive to not receive health care. If a child is born alive, we're going to give that child health care. That is humanity at its very basic.
We do it
Okay?
for illegals.
Yes.
We do it for illegals, but we don't do it for our own people.
They're in terms of in vitro fertilization and surrogacy, there are no limitations. That means a pedophile can adopt a child via a surrogate. And if you don't believe me,
I know about
go to
Devin.
Pennsylvania, because Pennsylvania right now is trying to pass legislation to prevent that. And the issue is, because this is a constitutional amendment, we will not be able to amend this legislation and this constitutional amendment, and pedophiles will absolutely be able to adopt via surrogacy.
Pedophile adoption. Wow.
Correct.
Oh, there's plenty of that. Oh, there's so much of that.
Further, there's a couple in California who had 25 children via surrogates under the age of 5. They were human trafficking children.
Yep.
There are no restrictions with IVF. So all of you do-gooders and your compassion and your caring, it's compassion without limitations, and it is criminal. All right? You are blinded by your compassion. There's a woman, that couple has been wanting a child for so long. So you're not going to look at isolated incidents. You're going to open the barn doors so that anyone under any circumstance can have an IVF child.
You can't have tunnel vision, people. You got to pay attention to what we're trying to tell you here. This is life and death. This is really, I'm going to tell you right now, this is really, I'm a pretty strong person, but this has been really emotionally trying for me today. This is
Dr. Sheila, can we move on to the voting rights restoration amendment?
Correct. So voting for the restoration of felons' rights. What this constitutional amendment, it puts voting rights as a right above every other right. Okay? So if you're going to have the restoration of rights, shouldn't you give all rights back, including your Second Amendment rights? Okay? They don't want to give Second Amendment rights. They want to take everyone's Second Amendment rights from them. Further, many people are convicted of felonies and they never go to jail.
Right.
Right? So this means that they will never lose their voting rights. The reason that there's a loss of voting rights and gun rights and other rights is because we want to send a message that it isn't a good idea to break the law and commit felonies. There's a consequence for your actions.
If you're a Republican or conservative.
Correct. All right. So if the issue further is the person who's been convicted of the felony does not have to complete restitution before they get their voting rights back. So if you've just embezzled $1 million from your, the little old lady down the street or from a group of people, you will have your voting rights back. You will get there. It's like there's no consequences for you. And it also doesn't say this is based on the crime. So what about people who commit heinous crimes? Shouldn't there be a permanent consequence for the crime that they've committed?
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? And I'm going to use a Trump tactic here. We watched him with the drug boats, and everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, you blew up those fishermen." Okay, but how much did we cut back on fentanyl and fentanyl deaths and drug deaths and everything else? And what happened? Because they knew that there were consequences to their actions. They stopped fishing. Does that make sense? They stopped bringing the drugs here. there's a deterrent. They stop doing it. If you keep letting somebody, I was married to somebody like this. You just let somebody keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and there's no consequences to it. You have a problem. You have a serious problem, not just for you, but for everybody else out there. There have to be consequences to your actions. Have to be.
Absolutely. And that we want, what they also say is that restoration of voting rights is challenging. False. All right. I have treated multiple people who have had their voting rights restored. If you go on the website, you fill out a form,
right.
All right? Let's say you don't have a smartphone or you don't even have a computer. There's a phone number.
But you can
simply call that phone number and they help you fill out the form. Okay. And you get your rights restored.
Yep.
All right.
There's a process.
All right. The fact, if you can't do these simple things and understand them, you don't have the cognitive ability to be casting a vote.
Right.
So that process is already in place.
Absolutely.
Yes, the process now is you go online, you complete a form, it goes to the Secretary of the Commonwealth, and your rights are restored.
Don't we have Congress people already that have done that?
Correct. All
you
right.
get what I'm saying?
If you have difficulty, there's any number of social service agencies who will help you.
Yep.
Okay. So this whole concept of the process is so burdensome that we can't do it.
What are they after in pushing this amendment through? What is their purpose?
The purpose is to have more voters on the rolls.
Votes.
Okay.
Everything's votes.
And that in particular people who have committed crimes.
Yeah. Because if you can have a criminal that somebody's committed crimes, they're easier, Charlie, to get to do other things like
become elected officials.
Right. They're the ones that'll collect all the votes in your neighborhood and go vote all at once or fill out the ballots. I mean, a criminal's a criminal's a criminal. Okay. So you can get them to do other things, you know. How much do I give you? What are they doing in California right now? Is it $5 or $10 for each vote? If you're homeless, you just walk up. James O'Keefe is doing something on this right now, where they just walk up and they pay you to sign your name. That's it. That's a vote.
So what can we do besides vote no on this amendment also?
All right. Again, it's educating yourself, going to our website. We actually also have, and if you'll put up the link, I sent you the link for our Facebook challenge questions. So we're doing challenge questions and asking people to answer the challenge questions on the constitutional amendments, and share that link with all of your friends, both Democrat, Republican, Independent, because one of the things that we found by doing this is our independent voters are very important in this election, and that they are voting no, particularly on the gerrymandering amendment. And so if we can get this information out, we can share it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever your social media is. Take the quiz and then join. After you take the quiz, share it with all your friends. Okay.
Not this one. This is where you go, folks. This is vote no 4 times for X in Virginia. This is what Dr. Sheila is talking about. Go to this website, take a look at it, read it. Don't use some critical thinking. It's not because my buddy's best friend said that you're going to lose every right in the world if you vote for this. No. Okay, you're going to keep your rights by voting no and paying attention to what's going on. It's all here. We will put this in the link in the description box below. The vote no flyer is on here. Share this with your friends and family.
Okay, so go back up.
All right, back up.
On the right-hand side is take the challenge question. So scroll down just a little bit more.
I'm going to come down here a little bit.
There, that right
Right
there.
here.
Take the challenge. So those are the questions that you can answer. You can share that link. This is a survey. You can share that link with all of your friends, with all of your families, particular Democrats, particularly independents. Okay. We want you to share this on your social media so that we can get swing the hardcore Democrats were never going to swing. Okay.
No.
But there's a lot of independents and there's a lot of moderate conservative Democrats who are against these things, but we have to educate them on what the amendment says and how the amendment language is a lie.
Right. Now, Dr. Sheila, when you first put this out a few weeks ago, I share it to everybody on our Mountain Patriots group. So they all got this, and I will keep continuing to share it. But folks, it takes a couple minutes, but I'm going to make a suggestion. I'm not going to make a suggestion. I'm going to tell you what to do. Click on here, no matter what party affiliation you are, but read the question. Read the question. Don't just assume it's a yes or a no. I'm for this. Yes. Well, wait a minute. How many people have done this, Dr. Sheila? We have about 200,000 people that have filled this out already.
We have 200,000 people who have seen it. We have over 2,000 who have answered the questions. It is a split between about equal numbers of Republicans and independent others. And then we have a small majority of a small group of Democrats who have voted, who have done it. But interestingly enough, is even the Democrats are voting no on gerrymandering so far.
Right. They don't want it either. They're paying attention.
Not as high as percentage, but it is over 51%. Okay. So they don't like it, which reflects what happened in 2020 because it was over 1 million votes.
And
now, if we have 1 million absentee votes come in on election day, we know that this state is full of fraud.
66% of the people in 2020 voted to keep the maps exactly the way they are. And if you go back and you listen to everybody right now that's in Richmond, they all vote for it. I mean, Spamberger voted for it. Jones voted for it. They all voted to leave the map alone. And now all of a sudden they want to change it to be able to take away your freedoms. And here they are.
Yeah.
Are they trying to do this because other states are doing it and they view, well, if Texas is going to do it, we're going to get even with Texas?
Correct. That's exactly what they did. But the issue is that Texas actually followed Texas law.
That's so kindergarten.
All right. So Texas was actually redrawing things and following Texas law. This is not the law and has not been the law in Virginia. And so to say that this was simply a whim and that they weren't following the law in Texas, they were following the law in Texas. They have that ability. Okay. And so we want to follow Virginia law and Virginia constitutional law.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just so you know, Dr. Sheila, what Charlie and I have been doing is we've been doing a lot of studying on the last couple of weeks on the Virginia Constitution. We've got the United States Constitution, but each state has its constitution. And he and I we're taking training and breaking it all down because they are different. Each state has a different constitution. A lot of them are the same. We do follow the United States Constitution, but each state has a different constitution. And these are the things, the amendments that are going to affect us here. So please read your Constitution, get to know what this is, get to know what freedoms. If you're going to do this, what are you giving? I always ask myself, if I do this, what am I giving up? What am I losing by doing this? Okay. And I'm tired of having people say, oh, go do this. Okay. They were a nice person. They sounded good. They looked good. They told me exactly what I wanted to hear. So I voted for them.
And a lot of other states are watching what's going on in Virginia.
Everything
and if Virginia gets away with it, they're going to start doing the same things. And we're going to see the fabric of this country change.
Absolutely. And we need, this is why um, keeping our localities and being involved in locally, but also, again, I'm reaching out to all the churches, all of the pastors. I will go and speak at any organization
Yes, you will.
about these four constitutional amendments, but we have to educate the people. And our churches have, from the foundation of this country, been the source of inspiration, not only for our belief in God, but they have been the source of inspiration for us politically. Okay. It doesn't mean we always agreed, but we had a united effort and a mechanism to educate. And we have become complacent and assume this is somebody else's issue, not our own, as the fabric of our nation has been torn apart.
Yep.
Yeah, and the population is um, ignorant and apathetic. That means they don't know and they don't care.
Correct.
So what we need to be keep doing what we're trying to do and educate them and bring things to light. One of the things that Dana was talking about is the Constitution. Every board of supervisors, every county should have its own
A
constitution
county constitution.
that can be used in accountability up the line.
Yep.
Or in being able to deny some of the crap that comes down the line. So there's benefits to doing that. We're just learning that. But
And we're learning that the Board of Supervisors, as long as we are working with our Board of Supervisors, that's our local voice. That's
Right.
our local voice. So anybody that's listening to this, don't think you have to just go to Richmond. Go to your Board of Supervisors, get them on board with what is happening in your community and let them fight the battles for you, but help them. It's not just, okay, I voted for Dr. Sheila or I voted for Charlie. Okay, I did my job, I voted. Now I'm going to go home and wait a couple years. That's it. You have to stay involved. You'll spend a couple hours right now at the end of the rope, the 11th hour, to fight it. Why didn't you just put in a little bit of time all the way through so it didn't happen?
Right.
Dr. Sheila, is there anything else that you want to share with us before we end?
I think that we
This is
have
great.
to remember that the foundation of this country is belief in God, Jesus Christ, and this is where we were founded. But additionally, the nuclear family, mom, dad,
Yes.
and children, is under assault.
Yep.
And if we don't push back, this country and the state of Virginia will be dissolved. It will no
Yes.
longer exist. And I'm not being hyperbolic about that, because so many want to destroy the nuclear family because it allows them to have power,
Yeah.
right?
You know, this none of these four amendments do anything to help the family. In
Nothing.
fact, they all go
Destroy
against
it.
the family.
Correct.
And your pocketbook, the
Wow.
whole 9 yards. You are about to give up all of your rights and
Right.
not even know it because we didn't pay attention because a buddy of yours said to go do this. Do your research. That's what we
Yeah.
always say. The opinions on here are not, they're our opinions and what we see, but we
Right.
always tell people, do your own research. Don't just believe what we're saying, because anybody can say that on television. Mainstream media has been lying to
That's
you for
correct.
years. Go find out if what we are saying is the truth, and be careful with Grok or Chat GPT. Sometimes you have to ask it certain questions
Yes.
seriously for it
Yes.
to actually give you and it'll apologize to you. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't answer that one right. And you're like, really? My wife laughs at me. Barbara laughs at me all the time because I argue with the female voice on Grok, and she's like, "Who
AI.
are you talking to?" I said,
Yeah,
"It's
Grok is
Grok,"
AI.
and the answer's wrong. Charlie,
Okay. Well,
anything? Any,
no,
Dr. Sheila, anything last that anybody needs to know? I certainly appreciate you being here. We really do. We got to do this again and more often.
yes, thank
Okay.
you so much, Dr. Sheila.
Thank you. I'm always glad, and I'll have to make a trip to Winchester.
Oh, we would
We look
love to
forward to
have
it.
you. We have a lot of things that we're putting together. We start meeting live again next week. We're really concerned about the elections this year because we know that a lot of these, I'm going to leave some people a little bit of hope here. There are a lot of things that are happening when it comes to Dominion, Smartmatic, the voting machines. There's a lot that's coming out. Okay, but that does not mean that we don't do our share. There is the 250th anniversary that's in July 4th. We've got a lot of things coming up for that with the Liberty Man podcast. I want you to check that out. But we're also concerned about if I'll call it the deep state doesn't get their way on election day, please be vigilant. Please pay attention to what's going on in your neighborhood. Don't just walk down the street looking at your phone thinking that nothing's going to happen. Because if somebody, you corner an animal into a corner, they're going to come out and fight. And that's about where a lot of these people are at this particular moment. So be prepared, be vigilant, and make sure you go to mtnpats.com. That's mountainpats.com. And Dr. Sheila's is vote, NO, number 4, X.com. Vote, no, 4X.com. And it will be on our website. So make sure, folks. Oh, yeah, we'll definitely get that out. Charlie, do you want to do the prayer? Would you like me to?
I'd like you to.
I would be glad to. Dr. Sheila, we have the Mountain Patriots prayers. You all know we've been doing this for almost 4 years. And we love this country. And I really appreciate you being on here today. Here's the Mountain Patriots prayer, people. If you'll bow your heads with me. Dear Lord, thank you for this beautiful world in the country that you have given us and the patriots who are willing to care for it. Thank you for inspiring our founders to create this beautiful republic, and please help us to keep it as the inspiring place to live. Please give us the wisdom to do the right things, the common sense to judge wisely, the energy to never give up, and your unending grace in which we take comfort, Lord Jesus. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Dr. Sheila, thank you so much. Charlie, you are the most incredible co-pilot that I could ever want to be working with on a daily basis. And as we always say at the end of every Mountain Patriot podcast, this one
is in the book.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. And I've got to find out.